Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to Lefties losing it. Let's start, Lefties, with this dose of insanity. I will give this woman credit because she starts off with some honesty. She calls herself unhinged and then proceeds to act like she's unhinged.
Completely unhinged. I went to the grocery store and while standing in line, I was trying to guess who voted against my rights. And I couldn't guess anymore. I was out of guesses. Because you're like sheep in wolf's clothing. And I just wanted to scream.
These people are insufferable, and it's wolf in sheep's clothing, not sheep in wolf's clothing. If nursery rhyme themes confuse you, it might explain why you're a lefty. And this next lass thinks she's brave and profound, but personally I find her a little sad and scary.
How's this for a motivational phrase? Our resistance will be talked about for generations.
Terrifying. Now, continuing the Trump derangement syndrome theme, let's check in on this young lass who identifies as a lad and decided to get the testosterone molecule tattooed on her neck to resist Donald Trump.
Life is worth living.
Why do that? I mean, do you want to be unemployable? I'm stating the obvious here, but real men don't need to get testosterone molecules tattooed prominently on their bodies because, you know why? They've got that XY chromosome. We all have testosterone, but us ladies are lacking the Y, and no amount of ink is going to change that. Now to a young lady who thought she was going to be a fixture in the White House. This is the 23-year-old daughter of Tim and Gwen Walz, Hope Walz.
This country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point.
I agree with that. America doesn't deserve Kamala. It deserves a lot better, and that's why they voted for Donald Trump, and they're getting better with Trump and Vance. It's good when we can all agree, isn't it? Now, listeners, Hope Walz, like all lefties losing it, shows she's full of hate and loathing while claiming to be all about love and tolerance.
These people have to live in their own skin, as in J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have to be J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. So I'm just really grateful that I am who I am and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress.
Oh, gosh, she's not new to activism. Journalist Andy No reports that during the deadly BLM Antifa riots in her state in 2020, Hope leaked information about the National Guard to inform rioters when to disperse. But I have some good news here. Hope Walz has finally taken care of her personal hygiene and had a shower and brushed her teeth. How do I know this? Because she posted about it. Really?
This morning I woke up and decided I needed to take a shower, and so I finally did that, and I did my skincare for the first time in a couple days, and this is very embarrassing, but I brushed my teeth for the first time since Tuesday night.
Now to the lunatic race-baiting network of MSNBC, which has seen its primetime audience plummet by around 50%. They've gone from airing diabolical lies to the sort of slander that could and should get them sued. And I really do hope Pete Hegseth calls his lawyers after seeing this.
Add the Secretary of Defense nominee, Peter Hegseth, the Fox News commentator as well, because this is someone who, weekend host, important distinction. This is someone who, is known to be a white supremacist, known to be an extremist, whose platform, whose book is basically about his opposition to the advancement of black officers to the top brass.
Absolute lies, the ugliest of lies. I really do hope he sues. And over at CNN, they're trying to scare the American people about Trump, but they just end up making him look even cooler.
And it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. he's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like,
yeah.
Not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least, but
a familiar character.
Yes, exactly. They've been with him at all these rallies. They've played a key role in where he's at now.
She's 100% right. You know, these picks may have surprised a few people, but they're backed 100% by just about every Trump voter because they knew this was coming. These are the people he's had around him. And the moment that we're talking about there is this. We're about to look at it. Trump entering Madison Square Garden for UFC 309 and hearing the thunderous applause. He walks in with Elon, Tulsi, RFK, and the rest of the crew.
Who is now making his way to the world-famous octagon, flanked by UFC CEO Dana White, 45, soon to be 47, President-elect Donald Trump.
I wish the people at home could hear the sound in this room. It's so loud in here. It is so loud. It's always loud when he comes here, but now that he's won, now that he's the president again, oh my God.
Let's hear from a lefty losing it election oracle, presidential predictor Alan Lichtman got it very wrong when he said Kamala would win the election, and like lefties losing it everywhere, he prefers to blame misinformation, also known as facts he doesn't like. Watch this meltdown. It is delicious.
And that's directly tied to misinformation. You know, they don't like Trump, but, you know, they're thinking, well, do we really
pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Pardon me?
Did Donald Trump pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Yeah,
or
but
in
not
2020?
than he picked up in 2020, the most relevant last election. He picked up about the same.
I think what I'm saying is that both sides can say things like this, like misinformation. It's hard to quantify that.
If you don't let me make my points, why do you have me on?
No, we love it. It's a conversation. It's spirited. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
We're done.
I think we'd love.
Let me talk. What's the point? Are you the expert or am I the expert?
He's the expert. Did you hear him? Imagine saying that during an interview while you discuss why you got it so wrong. We've heard the lefty meltdowns from the usual suspects on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, all of them. They're blaming sexism and racism. They should all take some sage words of advice from a fellow lefty. Charles Barkley, the former NBA star, gives Democrats some sensible guidance, which they'll no doubt ignore.
He's the president of the United States, and I wish him nothing but the best. But we lost. And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the up. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed inflation, bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? You guys lost because y'all stupid.
Yes, you guys lost because you're stupid, and so your policies like supporting confused kids, having puberty blockers and irreversible surgeries. Here is comic Rob Schneider schooling a young lefty who is losing it about the absurdity of so-called gender-affirming care.
I want to bring up the issue with trans in schools. I do think children should be allowed to have that knowledge on if they want to transition on what they want to do.
If I have a boy and he thinks he's a pirate, do I have the right to cut off his knee and take an eye out and give him an eye patch?
I think once it gets to that certain point.
A certain point? Like, what's the point where I can cut off my son's knee and say, because he thinks he's a pirate?
I think that's purely between the parent and the child.
Well, I don't think a parent should be allowed to do that.
You should have the option to go be educated and then still go and make the choice that you want to make.
Okay, not at 14. If you are under 25 years old, they don't even let you rent a car in this state. What does Avis, Enterprise, and Hertz know that the medical establishment seems so blissfully ignorant about? You are not a good decision maker at 14. You turn 18, you cut off any part you want, and I hope that you don't.
You know, this segment proves the left are ripe for mocking. Comedians should have no shortage of material, but the overwhelming majority are too gutless or just too ideological to tackle the many issues the left present them, but not this next group.
Happy Pride! Mom, Dad, I told you, I have a girlfriend. I'm straight.
Sweetheart!
Carol! No son of mine will be straight.
Sweetheart, I know that you are young and you are confused and all your little perverted friends on the internet have told you that being straight is cool. But the first day of Pride is not the time.
You are not my son. All my life I've pictured myself sitting on the couch with my son watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and you've taken that from me!
No, you know what? No one can take that from you. He is in there somewhere. Our son is somewhere inside of that golf-playing, beer-drinking demon. Look at her in the eyes. She does not deserve you.
Look at Lady Gaga!
Today is the first day of Pride. I have made you this cake. Your grandmother is downstairs, and she has bought you a new mesh crop top. You will wear it today with a smile on your face.
Great skit and much funnier than what Saturday Night Live comes up with nowadays. Did you catch their latest work? It is so dangerously unfunny, it should come with a cringe warning.
You've got another jacked king here to see you, RFK Jr. Bobby!
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to tell you again, I'm so honored to be the head of the Health and Human Services Department. Americans need someone to teach them how to be healthy, someone like me, a 70-year-old man with movie star looks and a worm in his brain.
Bobby, I love you. I can't wait to see what you do with this country in terms of health and with regard to measles outbreak.
That's enough, please, enough. And that is the best of it. That was the highlights that the Saturday Night Live team posted on X. Isn't it funny how the lefties are okay now with poking fun at someone's voice when we all know RFK Jr. suffers from a chronic neurological disorder that impacts his voice. It's called spasmodic dysphonia. At least be funny if you're going to mock his medical condition. And let's check in now with the ladies who watch The View. They are upset again and they have a warning. They're unleashing Woke 2.0.
If you thought we were woke before, you done went and woke the beast. Welcome to Woke 2.0.
Now, we've seen the meltdown from the MSNBC Morning Joe team, Joe and Mika. They have embarrassed themselves over and over again. Here is Joe Scarborough on Election Day.
We still have an electorate, 70 million plus, that will be voting for a man who said he was going to assassinate for treason the chairman of the Joint Chiefs because he didn't support him on January the 6th, who has said just in recent days he was going to execute Liz Cheney with a firing squad, 9 guns pointed and shooting at her face. A man who has said that he was going to shut down CBS because he didn't like how they edited an interview. A man who said he was going to be a dictator from day one. A man who said he was going to terminate the Constitution. A man who said he was going to use the army and he was going to use the National Guard on his political opponents.
Just absolutely hysterical, demented. And it's not just him. The rest of the MSNBC crew have practically declared a fatwa on Trump. They have since 2016. I could literally play you hours of tapes of just Joe. But here's just a teeny tiny taste of the craziness from Scarborough. And of course, it includes Hitler talk. Have a look at what he says before the election and then see if you can detect the change of tone after the election. And funnily, he's wearing the same outfit in both clips.
An autocrat who decides to be a dictator on day one, who decides to arrest all those who he doesn't like, who's talked about assassinating generals that aren't sufficiently loyal to him, has complained to his chief of staff that his generals should be more like Hitler's generals. Seems to make sense for leaders of both parties to seek common ground, if it's possible at all. And I will tell you, a lot of Democratic leaders we've talked to this past week, since the election, have told Mika and me it's time for a new approach.
I can't get enough of the humiliation ritual MSNBC host Joe and Mika are subjecting themselves to, proving to their dim-witted audience that they are utterly unprincipled, unscrupulous. Let's have another look at the sort of things they were saying before the election and what they're saying now.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
You're one of them, yes. That was before the election, but now they've met with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, a meeting they begged for. Yes, they begged to meet the man that they liken to Hitler.
We would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump.
And it should surprise no one that the View's Sunny Hostin had a big problem with Joe and Mika normalising Donald Trump, you know, normalising the guy who just won the election in a landslide.
And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news.
Meow. Ooh, hear that, Mika and Joe Scarborough? You two aren't real journalists. And Sonny, Donald Trump did not usher in the era of fake news. He was just the one to call out your lies and activism masquerading as journalism. Like the fake news you spread about Matt Gaetz in recent days, which resulted in this apology earlier today.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
Not sure how sincere that sour-faced apology was from Sonny. Maybe Matt Gaetz should demand another one until she gets it right. And if you want to know why Matt Gaetz scares them so much, then have a look at this. Whether he's questioning the Secretary of Defense about his dud predictions or berating fellow politicians for being owned by lobbyists, Matt Gaetz is fearless.
You guys told us that Russia couldn't lose. You told us that the Taliban couldn't immediately win. And so I guess I'm wondering, what in the $773 billion that you're requesting today is going to help you make assessments that are accurate in the face of so many blown calls? I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, oh, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you.
Let's have some fun now with a couple of lefties losing it, protesting Donald Trump. But just don't ask them to explain why they're protesting. That's where their bold, brave activism falls apart.
How important are women's rights? More important than yours and mine. What rights do men have that women don't? I think I'm done here today, guys. What rights do men have that women don't?
Ew, gross. Doesn't that sum up the modern anti-Trump left? Just angry, ill-informed attention seekers. And it's not new. Not only are these anti-Trump weirdos angry and full of bile, they're also massive hypocrites. They will even abuse the minorities they pretend to care about if those minorities think for themselves and vote accordingly. Remember this charming woman? Here's a little throwback to a white lefty woman losing it at Latino voters because they're backing Donald Trump.
These are voters who are either illiterate, they can't read, they are voting for an like Trump. That's why I'm here.
Isn't it their right to vote who they want to?
And it's my right to tell them they're idiots, ignorant, they're illiterate, they can't read, they can't assess. All they do is watch Fox News. That's their whole experience, and know that they hate Cuba and Castro. It's ridiculous.
Do you support Cuba?
Yes, I do.
Even though they're communists?
Yes, I do. I'm a socialist.
And Republicans should pray that their political opponents remain as dumb and irrational as the likes of the Washington Post's Jennifer Rubin. Here she advises the Democrats to double down on that hate and hysteria to win.
And you have to be pithy. What do I mean by pithy? How about this? Republicans want to kill your kids. It's actually true. If you're going to oppose vaccinations, if you're going to stop breakthrough medical research.
There you go. Republicans want to kill your kids. A winning strategy there for the Democrats. Let's hope they listen to her. Can you believe what has become of the once respected Washington Post? And here's back. Here is trans activist Jeff Marsh with more family-friendly advice, sure to turn a confused lefty into a really sad and lonely lefty.
Hi, this is a series about cutting off your Trumpy family members. Why do you need to be perfect? Why do you need to consider everyone's feelings and make sure everyone is okay in the situation and watch what you say and say it perfectly and say it right, while they get to say whatever? They get to be racist.
And the fallout from MSNBC's Morning Joe duo, Joe and Mika visiting with Trump, continues. The lefties are fighting among themselves, folks. Grab the popcorn and enjoy. Here's Rosie O'Donnell laying into her fellow lefties, calling them despicable. Despicable.
So Mika and Joe went down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. It's the last time I ever watched Morning Joe. Period. End of statement. Unreal. Unreal. For months you were telling us he's the worst thing that could happen to this country and democracy. And then you go kiss his ring? Despicable. Despicable you. Both of you.
So much fun. Let's hear now from a grief counsellor who wants to help those dealing with grief in the holiday period.
I think holidays are some of the toughest times after we've had a loved one who's died. So I hope these tips will help you move through this challenging time. So Thanksgiving, there is this sense of it's got to be an amazing Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is about togetherness. And first of all, Thanksgiving is a made-up holiday. It's actually about how we took a country away from Native Americans. So just remember that.
What did he say? That's what passes for advice from a grief counsellor. Don't worry about missing your loved ones at cherished holidays cause colonisation, really. He'd be the type to berate American Indians for not being offended by the Redskins or for overwhelmingly voting for Donald Trump. Yes, those figures are right. That's according to NBC exit polls. The group with the highest percentage of support for Donald Trump was American Indians, with 65% backing President Trump, only 34% voting for Kamala Harris. Now, we've already played you a clip of lefty election forecaster Professor Alan Lichtman having a meltdown during an interview, claiming that he's the expert and essentially walking off. Well, poor old Alan has had a rough few days. Let's have a look at how it started, the bold predictions of a Biden victory, of a Kamala victory, and then the tantrum.
A lot would have to go wrong for Joe Biden to lose this election. Kamala Harris will be a precedent-breaking president of the United States, the first woman president in U.S. history.
Can I just finish a goddamn thought? I don't need you to call me stupid.
That's what happens when you make predictions based on wishful thinking rather than facts. And I hope you have some popcorn left because we have more lefties attacking each other. Here is Jenk and Lichtman going at it. Enjoy.
You live in a total world of denial. I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah,
so quiet with your personal attacks.
Come find out again.
Make whatever point you want. Don't make it personal.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You attacked me personally.
You're so deluded.
All right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program, I've never been able to finish a thought.
How many books have you published?
Brother, you got it wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just finish a goddamn thought ever on this show?
It wasn't over yet. Someone ordered a tall glass of shut-up juice.
Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second? And let someone who knows what they're doing.
You're so right, Pierce.
You're
so right. We're so unified right now. You want, I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost
blasphemy
your ego
against you?
by
What the hell are you? Are you Jesus Christ, you loser? Okay,
make your point.
And that's it from me. I'll see you Sunday morning for Outsiders. Good night.